Of all the rookie quarterbacks, I really like Bo Nix, and I think a lot of it's Peyton and a lot of it's fit. His numbers are good, but you could just see him growing. You look at all these young quarterbacks. Is there one that that kind of snaps or pops out for you?
Well, I'm biased because he went to USC, but Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's been, you just talked about it a minute ago. It's been a tough year. There's a lot of chaos in the organization. There's a lot of questions about the staff, but he hasn't thrown a pick in 7 games. That is an amazing stat. Think about that. When you're in that moment and you're him and you're fighting for every yard and trying to get a win, you're trying to get the ball down the field. I mean, it is really easy to make a mistake. It is really easy to force one into coverage. It's really easy to put yourself and your team in a vulnerable situation. And I think that's the most impressive thing about him right now is he has not done that. He's trying everything he can do. He's doing stuff he was doing at SC, moving around the pocket. He's not getting a ton of separation on the outside. So he's creating a separation by holding on the ball for 3, 4, 5 seconds, making guys miss and giving his receivers downfield a chance to shake loose. And in all that, he's got guys flying around and bodies coming at him faster than they ever have before in his life. And he still hasn't thrown one to the other team. That's a truly amazing stat.
Yeah, I really agree. I think that's such a great point in terms of decision making. I think especially early on in the season, you could say that he wasn't making the best decisions and was forcing the ball down the field, and you did see him get into trouble. And then to see him kind of evolve past that, I think has been awesome. And we just saw the other day, Brock Purdy, Thursday Night Football, literally season on the line, and he made a bad decision and made a bad throw for an interception at a time in the game when it didn't need to. They were essentially going to be right in field goal position. Like it was just a bad chain of events that unfolded. And to see a young rookie quarterback like Caleb Williams be in a situation that's obviously in disarray, that right, we can't argue against that. You got new coordinator, new coach, firing this guy, firing that guy. Like it's been a mess, right? Having to answer all these questions. Who's leading the practice now? Who am I texting at night in terms of what the offensive game plan is? Like, who am I sitting shoulder to shoulder looking at film? Like who am I having these conversations with? It keeps changing. I'm now getting different philosophy. Like, it's a lot. Like, what Caleb Williams has been going through is just not easy by any stretch of the imagination. Just the sheer fact that obviously the expectations for him were through the roof, and to just not even meet those on a surface level from a media perspective, from a fan perspective, is exhausting and debilitating. And to see him stay positive and stay strong and keep moving forward, I think is also remarkable. I think this season we were, people in general are so ready, right? You either want to hate on a player or you want to, praise a player. And let's ignore the haters in this regard. The people that just want Caleb to fail just because they're like, he's a bust. I told you he's a failure. Let's put those guys aside. But let's say now even just the more neutral or the people that are just very optimistic about what Caleb could do. Right? We were looking now for reasons to be like, why is he special? Oh my God, you're ready. Going into the season, you're ready to be like, did you see how he escaped a sack and then ripped off a 20-yard run? Oh, did you see when he scrambled and threw the ball 15 yards down the field? Like, those are the things that people are like waiting to say. Like, you can see it because when it happens, everybody wants to jump out and highlight it. We see this, myself, Colin, Nick, Ray, any of these people. Like, this isn't like a knock. This is just like those are the things that you're expecting to see. You're waiting to see it. And when it happens, you're like, yes, that's it. That's why he was the number 1 overall pick. And those moments are on the surface that you're just like, you're waiting for, right? You're literally waiting for it. So when they happen, it is a pop. And I think we didn't get as many of those moments as we thought were going to happen. But the reality is, though, that we then got different moments. We got to see him be able to overcome some serious adversity. Outside of a player doing something horrific where like now you're going away for a long time. I mean, like the amount of adversity that he's had to face internally And within, whispers of him needing to be benched, him, again, having coaches fired, coordinators fired, like, it doesn't get outside of maybe like an owner somehow being fired in some weird way, right? Like, where like he's just like, oh my God, this owner is no longer going to be the owner anymore. Like, kind of like what happened with like the Clippers and stuff like that. Like, I can't imagine it being much more hostile and toxic and just insane. I can guarantee you so many suits and ties have had to have conversations with Caleb to be like, you all right, bud? Yeah, so we're going to be moving on from Eberflus. Like, don't worry, man. Nothing to do with you. Like, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get this figured out. I promise. Like, he's had to have had so many conversations in that regard. Because he is a rookie. He's a quarterback. He was a number 1 overall pick. They're going to be holding his hand and having all these meetings and conversations with him and, lots of check-ins. And it's again, all that stuff is exhausting and this and that. And he's going to, again, have to relearn stuff. Some of the stuff that he learned that maybe he thought was good. Another coach is going to come in and be like, no. That's where things are going wrong. You think this is good, but it's actually not good. And it's just a lot, man. It is. It really is. And to have him overcome all of that and be resilient is really where we should be heaping the praise. Just like we were all ready to heap the praise for him to scramble for 5 seconds and throw a dart down the field. Like the both are incredibly valuable because we've seen plenty of quarterbacks fail in unstable environments. And I wouldn't say that he failed. I'm not telling you that he's thriving, that he's overcoming in a way where now he's able to carry this team, but he's put them in a position to win these games down the line. Like you can't put all the blame on him. And quite frankly, that's all you could ask for in this situation. And we can nitpick and highlight some of these moments where he was clearly the problem. And it's like, be my guest, go do that. But like, well, then just do it for every other quarterback out there. So I really think the more we think about this season and the more we will look back on this season come time off season, I think there should be more positives to say about Caleb than negative. And I think his ability to kind of be resilient in all these moments is something that should impress you. There doesn't need to be any more qualifiers after that. No more other points that really need to be said in order for that statement to be true. You can be the biggest hater. You could say that you think Caleb Williams is going to be a bust and won't be in the league 3 years from now. You could have that take, but you can't take away what he's shown this year from a resilience standpoint, because it absolutely is impressive. He hasn't crumbled when many quarterbacks would have and could have. He has been taking care of the ball. He has shown progress. And some of these games, they are getting tight and there are chances to win. And he is leading them down the field. Like, he is showing that clutch gene. And it's not, you're not getting the outcome, the ultimate outcome that you want. But like I said, that all that blame cannot be heaped on Caleb Williams in that regard. So, I'm glad Carson Palmer kind of highlighted that in this regard, because it's kind of funny. We were getting like hit with so much Caleb Williams and Chicago Bears content, obviously, over the months and months and months. And now it feels like it's kind of just like fallen off. And it's like, I feel like this is like one of my more recent Chicago Bears videos, just because it's just, there hasn't been a ton to talk about in a more like grounded way. And so I'm glad that this clip came out like this. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? Like, have you been impressed with him? Are you able to find any of the positive with regards to this season and how things have unfolded? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.